The fight or flight mechanism keeps people suspended in a rudimentary decision process. You see, the challenge with it is that within this paradigm, the whole of humanity is arrested right now, locked. And it's so difficult. You cannot explain this to somebody and help them understand it. They have to free themselves from it. But this is what eliminates all the potential ways of being and seeing available to the conscious person. That within each person is a purely objective beingness. But see, the objective beingness gets observingly eliminated from the fight or flight reaction. That all animals enter into tunnel vision when they have a fight or flight reaction. And we're no different. The problem with human beings is that the tunnel vision is a subjective state. And that subjective state is reacting to non-reality, and so it never goes away, because when you're reacting to thoughts of being not enough, you're always in your life, and that's like an animal being in the company of an animal that's always threatening to it. And so, if you're a cat and you're afraid of dogs, well, imagine if a dog followed you around all day. You would always be in fight or flight. See, human beings aren't aware that they're always in fight or flight because the physiology normalizes. But human beings stay stuck in a subjective experience that's brought on a whole field of psychology to try to treat the something's wrong that everybody's dogged by. Failing to recognize that everybody is mentally ill within this paradigm, we stigmatized and parceled out the expression of the subjective experience into mental health diagnoses, actually believing it's a real thing when it isn't. That it is just a secret amongst people that reach Satori, enlightenment, or transformation that will never be viewable by psychology unless the psychologists themselves has this experience as well, because you cannot see it. You will never believe it. You will never understand it. It's not healing. It is literally getting out of fight or flight. That is it. The most amazing thing that happens when this takes place is a profound expansion of one's conscious mind. Because you see, in fight or flight, you react to even accessing your own imagination. That this causes a profound reduction in creativity and intelligence expression, not actual creativity or intelligence, but access. Like, people can't even think about tomorrow without getting triggered. People going to take a test are stuck in anxiety and rumination. And we have an education system which keeps people in that. Literally graduating them through a completely anxiety-driven, narcissistic system of self-assessment, judgment, individuation, and competition, which is organized by the ego for the ego. And in that paradigm, children that are already outside the boundaries of that have their creativity, get stigmatized and subordinated to people that do not even have the intelligence and imagination of people that we now call neurodivergents. And when a neurodivergent person wakes up from their own subjective experience, they have a massive head start, having already had access towards the domain of the mind that is experiential and infinitely expansive. I can tell you that the breakthroughs that I've caused for myself resulted in I couldn't even put a number to it, but say a thousandfold increase in the space that I can hold information in my head. That I have the formation of ideas that happen so rapidly in pattern that I will know all the information contained within these paradigms that form instantly and automatically, but the ability to speak those is just limited based on the physical form of my body. That my mind can form ideas faster than I could get answers from ChatGPT, because it can hold the spaces of many memories, all information I've ever had, while seeing things in multiple planes, connecting these things in a way that forms an understanding that is reality tested entirely objectively against everything I've ever witnessed in my life, absent any attachment towards my own ego. Only outside the boundaries of ego is this even a possibility for a person. Because within ego, you're arrested in the tunnel vision, the fight or flight, where your ego is merely a reactionary compensatory mechanism that is reacting towards an illusory projection generated by the ego. And so within each human being, are two segregated experiences of being. One that is arrested in obscurity, that is fully aware. You see, one of the mistakes of enlightenment is thinking that you discovered, something when you didn't. You see, the objective observer within every human being is completely awake at all times. And so when we call it an awakening, it's not really an awakening. It is really just the erosion of the boundaries of fear that cause the exclusion of information that would cause a reaction. That is it. That when somebody's released from the constraints of the fight or flight paradigms of thoughts that were organized by the child's mind at 5 years of age, those boundaries are released and the person leaves the subjective experience that is a tunnel vision state caused by an all-pervasive sympathetic nervous system process of exclusion. You see, the brains of all animals in fight or flight exclude all awareness that is not relevant to survival. That is why you trample people in a fight or flight that's severe, because you as a wakeful conscious experience do not witness those people, but you absolutely do consciously, absolutely experience them, see them, know them. And I mean, people that wake up in the way I have a profound difficulty restoring to a normal, ordinary life because of what they've seen and what that implies about the potential of other people. That people would mistakenly think that me as a person is a personality as a function of upbringing and education, when no. I am a representative of you and everyone else, that everybody has this. That it is a lie that people do not have genius within them. The wide expanse of the mind of a person is undeniable for some people who have used hallucinogens, but when you dream, look at the creative capacity of an average person. An average person can out-dream Steven Spielberg when asleep, meaning you could have a Jurassic Park movie in your head and you could be interdimensionally astral projecting and traveling. Somebody takes a hallucinogen and now they're being teleported through geometries that are multidimensional and perfected. And now they're at a conference talking to celestial, multidimensional beings that are telling them things that are so intelligent they couldn't even retain it when they come to. Well, let me give you a news flash. Your brain did all of that. Your consciousness never left the boundaries of the neurons. That your brain is so powerful that it can organize all those beings in one. When you're having experiences of other people in your mind, you're literally creating another mind, a character, a universe, but you're doing that every time you step outside and see all these things around you. And so the subjective experience is a tunnel vision that profoundly limits one's access to even thinking about themselves in the future. And psychology, in its utter failure to recognize this, has condemned people with stigma. And we will exit that if we wake up from it. There will be no need for therapy anymore if people understand the mind.